Look, I want to get this out of the way in the beginning. I like Garrett Green a lot. And we may very well go on to win the Big 12. And we may very well, go on to have a good season. Neal Brown is one of the coaches of all time. He's one of the play callers of all time. He is one of the recruiters of all time. And I think I'm just frustrated at where we are as a program. And what year is it? Hold on. 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. Oh, we're in year fucking 6 of the Neal Brown Experiment. Year 6. Okay? And in year 6, at home, huge crowd, big noon kickoff. We can't even muster more than 12 fucking points. Really? 12 points. That's all we've got as West Virginia. And this is a fucking team. This is a program. Number one, I'm going to say this again. I said it last year. You can look it up. Look, we are the number one winningest program of all time without a national title. Okay? That's a fact. We, at several points in our history, were ranked in the top 5. Not too long ago, with Pat White, Steve Slayton, even Geno Smith, we were ranked number 7. With Will Greer, we were ranked number 6 at one point. And this program has a history of maybe not competing for a national championship, but at least being in the top 25, competing and winning big games, right? We have not been ranked one fucking week in 6 years since Neal Brown has taken over as a head coach, right? And the excuses continue to mount for his failures on the field. And look, I understand everybody's going to yell, "Oh, we went 9-4 last year. We went 9-4." Of the 3 teams that we lost to, because we lost to every team that finished in the top 25. Of the 3 teams we lost to in the top 25 that finished in the top 25, we lost by an average of 20 points against those teams. So we played a cupcake schedule last year. We beat a North Carolina who didn't have Drake May in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Look, it's year 6. It's year 6. And we can't even compete on a national stage in year 6. But I'll give you this. It's closer than it was last year by 7 points. So maybe in 10 years, maybe we'll beat a Penn State. Maybe in 10 years. By the time the development track gets... Look, I like Garrett Green a lot. I wasn't that impressed today. I really wasn't. And again, look, you can come for me. I'm not a fucking college football quarterback. I never played quarterback in my life. Okay? So get that out of the way with he doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, well, I can have fucking eyes. I could see, I could compare a good quarterback to an average one to a bad one. I could see. I watch a lot of football. I could fucking see the difference. Okay? So Garrett Green, I've noticed when he throws the ball, especially under pressure, he has a tendency to sail it, right? Like a couple plays where he had wide open fucking receivers, and even on some completions he's sending the ball on a fucking voyage, sailing it above their head, and then hopefully the receiver has a circus catch, right? But Garrett Green, he's 5'11", he's undersized, he's not even big, he's skinny, he doesn't throw the ball very well, and for being a dual threat quarterback, he couldn't fucking get anything on the ground today. And I know it's Penn State and they're fast, but still, you couldn't get anything going on the ground. And Neal Brown's classic play calling of inside zone, screen, fucking the screen antichrist, Neal Brown himself, fucking screen pass, bubble screen, every fucking screen, television screen, literally every fucking screen you could think of. On 3rd down, 2nd down, when we need yards and you're fucking throwing a screen pass. The only time we moved the ball was when we pushed it down the field. Or C.J. Donaldson got a fucking big run. We need to give him the ball more. Okay? And if you're going to do a fucking inside zone against a superior to. I don't know what to do with this. Because here's the deal. What do we want as a program? I think is the question everybody has to ask themselves after this. Because it's like, yeah, we could go on to win the Big 12. Hooray! We win the Big 12. What happens then? We get annihilated in the playoff? We'll probably put up a performance similar to a Cincinnati or Notre Dame that one year when they fucking made it, or Michigan State when they got ass blasted, or fucking, TCU in their national championship debacle. Like, if you really want to, like, what does West Virginia want to be as a program? If you want to compete in the playoff and make it to the playoff, we ain't going to do it with this roster we have. Or we might. Okay, I'm being too negative. I'm also frustrated. So, if anybody, which nobody on the fucking team would be watching up to this point anyway, but if anybody here is watching, I so desperately want you guys to prove me wrong. I want you to put this on the fucking television screen. I want you to be like, look at this fat bastard talking shit about us. Let's prove him wrong. I want that to happen. I want nothing more than for West Virginia to win a national championship one day. However, it don't look like it's going to happen this year. And I swear to God, it's the same fucking problems we've had with Neal Brown since year one. What has he really learned? His play calling is not that good. The one time in his tenure as a West Virginia football head coach when we didn't have shitty play calling was that one year when we had JT Daniels at the beginning of the season when we were actually putting up points. And the defense... West Virginia's never had a good defense except for like when we had, like in the Pat White days, we had some good defensive players, and we've had Bruce Irvin, and we had a couple good defenses under Holgerson, but like we've never been known for our defense. We've always been a high flying, passing, running offense, running gun, air raid fucking team, and it's just like there's no excitement anymore for the game. And again, Neal Brown, I think, is such an effective salesman. And this is a compliment to him, actually, that he's able to bring in some decent recruits, right? But, like, again, this has to translate onto the fucking field. We haven't won a home opener since 2020 when we played fucking Midwestern Kalinchkala Community College, whoever the fuck we played. It was an FCS team we beat. Wow, congratulations. We lost to Maryland. We lost to fucking Pitt. And then the last 2 years, we've lost to Penn State in the opener. And it hasn't been particularly close in the Penn State games. We've had moments, especially last year, like going into halftime, it looked like we were going to, it was like only 14-7. And it looked like we actually had a shot in that game. Today, again, they score in 39 seconds at the end of the first half, and it was just so frustrating to watch. It sucked all the life out of the game for me. And then we had the 2-hour rain delay, which by the time the game turned back on, I couldn't give a fuck. I'm like, let it, whatever, get it over with. Let us fucking lose already. And it was just, that was like a perfect encapsulation of Neal Brown's head coaching tenure at West Virginia, where it's like, you keep it semi-close in the beginning, and then some stupid bullshit happens, and you make stupid decisions like not kicking a field goal in the red zone on the first possession, and then we had the god awful fucking fumble immediately after we recovered a fumble from them. And look, if you don't fuck up on that drive, the first drive of the game. And I think it was the second because we went 3 and out or some shit. I don't know, but if you don't fuck up on that drive, you score a fucking touchdown or something, that completely changes the dynamic. The crowd's into it the whole time, and they're on their heels. They're fucking up because they made a lot of errors. Penn State, I was not impressed with at all. They're going to lose to Ohio State, and they're going to lose to Michigan, and they might lose another game because they did not look that good. Drew Aller is not that impressive. And I'm surprised it took us until we were losing by fucking 20 points to put a QB spy on Drew Aller, because every time on third down and long, he'd fucking run for a first down. But it's just, the whole thing is a frustrating exercise, and I don't know where we're going. You know, yeah, we'll beat Albany. Hooray. Fucking Albany. Half the people in America don't even know that Albany's in New York, okay? So, congratulations, we'll beat Albany. I swear to God, though, if we lose to Pitt, and Pitt didn't look that bad today. I know they're playing fucking, who the fuck was Pitt playing? Some shit team, I think. But if we lose to Pitt, God help us all, because if we're 1-2 going into the Kansas game, good fucking luck, because Kansas is good this year, okay? It's not like in 2022 when we lost to Kansas where they were, like, on the rise. We didn't know, like, nobody knew if Kansas was going to be good. It was actually embarrassing at the time to lose to Kansas, but now it's not. But, like, we're going to lose to Kansas. If we look, I'm just trying to warn everybody. Look, if this happens, this is going to be a fucking shit show. If we go into the Kansas game 1-2, Neal Brown's head is going to be on a fucking spike in Morgantown. Like, that, they're going to be calling for that man's job, and like, because there's a very real possibility we could end up 1-3 or 1-4 in the first 5 games of the season, and with the astronomical expectations that they've set, that they've done this to themselves. Neal Brown has done this to himself. Again, by having high expectations that we're going to compete in the Big 12 this year, that we're going to win the league, that we're going to, go on a run. And God, I'm telling you right now, we have to beat fucking Pitt. If we don't beat Pitt, God help that man, because it ain't going to be looking pretty. Okay? The fans are already, like, I've seen it on Twitter already, where people are like, same old Neal. They need to fire him at the break. And here's the thing. The frustrating part about all of this is that 9-4 season we had last year against cupcake fucking schedule, like BYU, Cincinnati, and UCF, who we beat, all sucked, and we beat an FCS team that was 4 of the 9 wins. We beat a Drake Mayless Carolina in the bowl game, which I'm sure a lot of players sat out of, because half the time people don't fucking play in the bowl game anymore. That's a majority of the wins. Who else did we fucking beat? I don't know. I think Iowa State maybe. But, like, the thing, we had a very easy schedule last year, so that was like a cloak. That provided a cloak around the problems. It was like putting Band-Aid on a fucking bullet wound. Because now we have a much more difficult schedule. We have 6 teams, including Penn State that we just lost to, 6 teams on the schedule right now that are ranked ahead of us. And then if you include Iowa State, it's 7, because technically they're ranked 30th and we're ranked 33rd. And it could get very bad very quickly. And I don't want to be Neal Brown if we end up at fucking 1-4, 1-5. If we end up at that point, good God, Lord, if they don't fire him, then something is going on. He has blackmail on people at that point. Because at this point, we are in year 6. If we can't compete against a decent team, like, we need to be making steps forward. Like, it would be one thing. Look, it would be one thing if today we went out there and we lost in a close game, and it was a wire-to-wire the whole time. After the first half, actually, pretty much in the halfway through the second quarter, Penn State was pretty much in the driver's seat the whole time. And you could just tell the momentum was on their side. It felt like it took a Herculean effort just for us to get a fucking first down at points in the first half. And then we finally, we get a field goal, cut the lead down to 7, which we would have cut the lead down to 4 if we would have kicked the fucking field goal in the beginning of the game But no, we don't. And we go for the glory. And anyway, so, it would be different if we were in a close, razor-tight game with Penn State the whole time. And I would be singing a different tune. I'd be like, okay, you know what? I didn't expect to win. I didn't expect to win against Penn State. They had me believing that we could do it because Neal Brown is such a successful snake oil salesman. But if we would have been close, if it was like a 27-24, okay, fine. Look, fuck it. We put up a good fight. We lost. I know. We'll reload. We'll go on to the next game. It would have instilled me with a lot more confidence than what I saw today. Because what I saw today was the same team from last year. And that team from last year, we should have... Oh, Baylor was another one of our wins that we should have lost to. We got a last-second fucking touchdown against Baylor. We did lose to Houston, which was one of the rather more embarrassing losses of the fucking season. We were winning by double digits against Oklahoma State at home and choked that one away. That was another one of our 4 losses. We were... who else? We lost to Penn State by double digits. By a lot. It was like 30 points, I think we lost by Penn State. And we lost to... Who the fuck else did we lose to last year? Anyway, whatever. I flushed that fucking season out of my mind. Look, guys, I want to win, and I want us to win, and I would love to be wrong about Neal Brown. We're in year 6. Look, if we don't... What I fear is that, like, legitimately speaking, and this happened in 2022, if you guys remember, where we lost a close game at Pitt, like a fucking razor-thin game at Pitt. And it just spiraled the whole fucking season out of control after that point, because then we lost to Kansas, and we were 0-2, and, it was just a disaster after that point. But, like, I'm really concerned, because we have to fucking beat Pitt. If we don't beat Pitt, we're in for a fucking nosedive, fucking train crash, plane crash, any crash. We're in for a fucking treat, and not a good kind. If we don't beat fucking Pitt, I'm pretty much resigned. And if we lose to Albany, Jesus Christ, fire him immediately. Like that better never happen in my lifetime, that we lose to an FCS team. But I'm not calling for his job. I'm not. I'm just disappointed that we were sold a fucking lie going into this game that it would be competitive and that we've arrived, and they were pissed off that they were snubbed from the top 25. They didn't look like a fucking top 25 team out there to me. They didn't. They looked like a middle-of-the-pack Big 12 team, which is exactly what their value is right now, practically speaking, as far as their rankings is concerned. Like, Garrett Green, look, I like Garrett Green as a person. I don't think he's going to lead us to the promised land. I'd love for him to prove me wrong, but Jesus, please, prove me wrong, please. Because all I want to see is the fucking team that I love to win football games. That's all I want to see. And I think that's what frustrates me the most, is that I'm not just one of these fucking haters. Because I so desperately, like, I had it in my mind today, before the game started, I was like, tearing up thinking about all my great times I had at WVU, tearing up thinking about what would it mean if we won the game. And I swear to God, I had it in my mind. If we won today, I would have made the title of the video would have been, I was wrong about Neal Brown. And I would have apologized. Because I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. But it's just, I see what's happening. We're a mediocre team, a slightly above average team that just got railed against the top 10 team. But even then, I wasn't that impressed with Penn State. Whatever, man. The whole exercise is just frustrating because, you would expect to be further along in the rebuild by now. And what I hope doesn't happen is that we don't end up like a fucking Nebraska, where a once great storied program has years of mediocrity and below average play, and now they're like a fucking middle to below average team in the Big Ten. Like, that could be us if we don't, like, that's all it takes is 2 bad head coaching hires or, like, a bad head coaching hire and sticking with them too long, and you're done. Like, you know, look what happened in, again, look what happened in Nebraska. It took them forever to even remotely approach getting back to what they used to be. Look at Florida, actually. You know, between Will Muschamp, fucking Al Golden. No, who the fuck was the goddamn coach after Will Muschamp? McElwain. And now they got fucking Billy Napier and he don't look. Oh no, Dan Mullen. That was the third one. And Billy Napier. And look at Florida now. They're getting raped by Miami. Napier is probably on the chopping block, but like, and obviously West Virginia never reached the heights that Florida reached. But it's the same story. It's like we were both very good in the 2000s. Very good. West Virginia was a damn good team in the 2000s. And you can't tell me otherwise. When we had Rich Rod and all that other shit, and Pat White, and even Geno Smith in the early 2010s, you know, and we had some great years under Dana Holgorsen. Our track is very similar to Florida. And look at Florida right now. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Billy Napier is out of a fucking job by week 4 or week 5. And it's the same thing. Like, overhyped. And they do it in Florida, too. Overhyped. Oh, look at who the recruits we got. Oh, we're going to do great. You go into the first game, and you start losing games, and then it's like, well, XYZ excuse coming here, and Florida can't hide the fact that they are below average because they're in the fucking SEC. At least we're in the Big 12. There's a lot of mid-ass teams in the Big 12 that we could beat up on and string along some wins. But, again, I want you guys, as your homework for today, to go back and look at the wins that West Virginia had last year, all 9 of them. I want you to look back at all 9 wins, and I want you to look at how close they were and against who the records were. They were against a lot of losing teams, and not only that, they were fucking close games with the exception of like Cincinnati and BYU. There were some razor close games last year. And it's just, people need to lower their expectations for this team because I wouldn't be surprised if we go 6-7 or 6-7, 5-7. You know, I wouldn't be surprised at all with the schedule we have, and you know, especially if Neal Brown sticks with Garrett Green for too long. Because I'm telling you, I'm not impressed with his throwing mechanics. He's never been able to throw the ball. The whole time he's been at West Virginia, he's never been able to throw the fucking ball. And we have a fucking 4-star quarterback that probably should have started last year, Nico Marchiol, and we don't fucking play the kid. And I get the whole Garrett Green story, but play Nico Marchiol. Give him a fucking chance. Because we need somebody who could push the ball down the field. With this offense that we have, you have to be able to throw the ball. And Garrett Green is an average thrower. And if you can't run, which we couldn't run for a majority of the game, we're fucked. If you can't run the ball with this offense, and you have to be able to throw it, you cannot win a game with Garrett Green. You can't put the fucking game on his arm. And because he's going to sailing takes me away. That's where the ball's going to go, away above the fucking head of the receiver and into the arms of a defender because he doesn't know how to fucking put fucking, some zest on the ball and get it to somebody quick. He's always sailing the ball high. It's just, what are we doing? I'm telling you, man, if we fucking end up at a point where we are fucking, 1-4, it's gonna be a fucking ugly season. And what I think is realistically gonna happen, we probably go 8-4. Playing the fucking, the fucking Cheez-It Bowl or the fucking, the Citrus Bowl or some shit. And we lose in the Citrus Bowl because we play against a real team that's not a cupcake team. And Garrett Green graduates and fails to make an NFL roster. And, then Nico transfers out because he hasn't gotten a shot. And then we have no fucking quarterback. So, yeah.